Welcome on in. I'm Viv. This is Viv's Art and Garden, and I wanted to show you my Inktober progress. Now, I'm far behind, but I don't care. I'm going to keep going. I have discovered that what is keeping me slow is trying to edit all the videos, so I'm just not going to make the videos. I'm just going to make the drawings, and then I will do a flip through. So this is my flip through for so far. I got my Inktober prompts in the front. My first one that I did was mustache. So I did this cute little catfish, or I think he's cute. Let's see, we'll put this a little bit closer. Alright. So I have this cute little catfish for mustache. I really enjoyed doing that one. That was my very first one. I did it with a dip pen. The second one is weave. I like this one. Okay, it's just a bunch of snakes all weaving together. For crown, I did a peacock, and I did it with colored inks. I really liked the colored inks before this challenge, or before I finish with this challenge. I was going to say before it ends, but I may not be finished by the time it ends. I'm probably going to use some more of these colored inks, and I did use a dip pen with that one. This is my least favorite of all of them. I'm happy with my bird. I'm just not happy with the background or the composition. It's just blah to me. But it was a good learning experience. The next one was murky. So I did this octopus. You know, they like to hide a lot. They're very shy animals. And so I made his tentacles that were the closest to us. I made those more clear and detailed, but then his body and his other tentacles, I tried to make those more obscure so it looks murky. That was the prompt. The next one was deer, and this is a male deer, and male deer will, I call it snuffling, but I don't think that's the proper term for it, but when they're looking for a mate, they will either sniff the female and to see if she's ready to mingle, and what they'll do is they'll take their upper lip and they'll smush it up to their nose to see if she's ready so that they can get a good scent over. So that's what he's doing. He's not screaming. It looks like he's screaming, but he's actually just seeing if his female is single and ready to mingle. Now the next one I did was pierce, and I did this mosquito. I really like my mosquito. And there's a little drop of blood where he has pierced the skin. My skin didn't come out too well, but that's alright. I still like my mosquito. I like all the contrast, the really darks and lights of it. It has a lot of good contrast for my mosquito. And then starfish, I just did a graphic type thing. It's not exactly a Zentangle, but it's more of a graphic designerly type starfish. That was just what my mood was that day. That's what popped into my head, and I've been trying to just draw whatever pops into my head. And then for Reckless, I did one of those crazy raccoons that I feed at night, and he is on a tightrope, but he's deciding to take a little break on his tightrope. But that was for Reckless, because raccoons can be pretty reckless. I have some that will travel from, I put food on columns, my brick columns, and my brick columns are connected by an iron fence. But that fence is only an inch wide, and I will see them balancing themselves across that little tiny fence to get from one column to the other. So they're pretty reckless. This is also inspired by my raccoons, specifically Lucy, although she's not heavy. This is the prompt was heavy. She's not a big raccoon. She's actually one of the smaller ones, but that raccoon has a sweet tooth and she loves donuts. So I drew a fat raccoon holding a donut, and you know, that I let the things that are around me inspire me for these. Now this little mouse for sweep, I have some Christmas ornaments, and they're little mice, but they're dressed up like people. And one of the little mice she's dressed up like Mrs. Claus, and she has a little tray of cookies. So I was like, oh, I'm going to use her for the inspiration, and then just make it into a Halloween witch costume instead of Christmas, obviously, and give her a little broom. So that was for sweep. Then for Sting, I did a scorpion silhouetted in a moon. The only thing I would change about this one is I would darken this background really dark so that this stands out, because right now it doesn't stand out. It's just kind of blah, but that would give it some dramatic, and I may go back and do that later on, but that would give it some dramatic look to it, some dramatic contrast. And then for shredded, I did Percy Possum. I have a little possum that comes by every once in a while, and I've named him Percy. So I did shredded because they like to collect nesting material, and he's shredding his paper to make his little nest. Again, I just use what's around me to inspire me, especially my garden. I would live in my garden if it wasn't for the mosquitoes. I would just stay out there 24/7. Now this one is drink. So of course I have tons of hummingbirds that come to my yard. I have hummingbird feeders out there, but I also make sure to provide a lot of flowers for them to drink from, so that they, have a good chance of crossing the Gulf of Mexico when it's time for them to migrate over to Mexico. And I haven't seen any lately in the yard, so I think they have all gone. They've all gone south now. But I will see them again in March. So this is a stump that is in my garden. The prompt is trunk, so it's going to be a trunk because I say it's a trunk. It's a stump trunk. But the reason I wanted to do this for trunk was it has these gorgeous mushrooms growing on it. And this is a top-down view of it. It doesn't look, it doesn't look exactly like a stump or a trunk, but I like the design of it. So I like it. Other people might not like it, but I like this. But yeah, I love the mushrooms. I love the way that they have those stripes on them in real life, so I was trying to show that. What I probably should do is make the stump a little bit darker so that the mushrooms will stand out more. And this one I did on the plane. I took a trip to upstate New York to meet my daughter-in-law's mother and father and sister and her sister's husband and their child, and we just had a sort of mini family, I wouldn't say reunion because it was the first time we met, so I can't really call it a reunion, but a family meeting, just say that. We had a really good time, but I did this one on the plane to New York. We went to upstate to the Finger Lakes. It was beautiful. I highly recommend the upstate of New York. It is gorgeous. But I just thought this chicken with all the crazy feathers on his head looked ragged to me. So that was my one for ragged. And that is as far as I've gotten. So you see I'm very far behind. But on the plane ride back to Charlotte, I also did a quick little sketch of, I don't know how she's related to me, but she is my son's niece. So I don't know what that makes her to me, but I did a cute little sketch. She's only 2. She is adorable. She speaks Mandarin and she speaks English at 2 years old, and she can recognize who to speak each language to. She knows who speaks what. So she is brilliant, and she really made a big impression on me, and I think she is just the most beautiful child. So I did a little sketch of her on the way back. So, yep, that's it so far. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. And anytime you feel like giving up, just remind yourself, any little bit of progress still counts. Okay, guys, love you. See you soon.